Book of Jubilees. Jacob goes to Bethel to offer sacrifice. 1-3, cf. Gen 35.2-4, 7-14. Isaac blesses Levi 4-17 and Judah 18-22. Jacob recounts to Isaac how God prospered him 24. Jacob goes to Bethel with Rebekah and Deborah 26-30. Jacob blesses the God of his fathers 31-2. Chapter 31. And on the new moon of the month Jacob spake to all the people of his house, saying, Purify yourselves and change your garments, and let us arise and go up to Bethel, where I vowed a vow to him on the day when I fled from the face of Esau my brother, because he has been with me and brought me into this land in peace, and put ye away the strange gods that arc among you. And they gave up the strange gods and that which was in their ears and which was on their necks, and the idols which Rachel stole from Laban her father she gave wholly to Jacob. And he burnt and brake them to pieces and destroyed them, and hid them under an oak which is in the land of Shechem. And he went up on the new moon of the 7th month to Bethel. And he built an altar at the place where he had slept, and he set up a pillar there, and he sent word to his father Isaac to come to him to his sacrifice, and to his mother Rebekah. And Isaac said, Let my son Jacob come, and let me see him before I die. And Jacob went to his father Isaac and to his mother Rebekah, to the house of his father Abraham, and he took 2 of his sons with him, Levi and Judah, and he came to his father Isaac and to his mother Rebekah. And Rebekah came forth from the tower to the front of it to kiss Jacob and embrace him, for her spirit had revived when she heard, Behold, Jacob thy son has come, and she kissed him. And she saw his 2 sons, and she recognized them, and said unto him, Are these thy sons, my son? And she embraced them and kissed them and blessed them, saying, In you shall the seed of Abraham become illustrious, and ye shall prove a blessing on the earth. And Jacob went in to Isaac his father, to the chamber where he lay, and his 2 sons were with him, and he took the hand of his father, and stooping down he kissed him, and Isaac clung to the neck of Jacob his son, and wept upon his neck. And the darkness left the eyes of Isaac, and he saw the 2 sons of Jacob, Levi and Judah, and he said, Are these thy sons, my son? For they are like thee. And he said unto him that they were truly his sons, and thou hast truly seen that they are truly my sons. And they came near to him, and he turned and kissed them and embraced them both together. And the spirit of prophecy came down into his mouth, and he took Levi by his right hand and Judah by his left. And he turned to Levi first, and began to bless him first, and said unto him, May the God of all, the very Lord of all the ages, bless thee and thy children throughout all the ages. And may the Lord give to thee and to thy seed greatness and great glory, and cause thee and thy seed from among all flesh, to approach him to serve in his sanctuary as the angels of the presence and as the holy ones. Even as they shall the seed of thy sons be for glory and greatness and holiness, and may he make them great unto all the ages. And they shall be judges and princes, and chiefs of all the seed of the sons of Jacob. They shall speak the word of the Lord in righteousness, and they shall judge all his judgments in righteousness. And they shall declare my ways to Jacob, and my paths to Israel. The blessing of the Lord shall be given in their mouths, to bless all the seed of the beloved. Thy mother has called thy name Levi, and justly has she called thy name. Thou shalt be joined to the Lord, and be the companion of all the sons of Jacob. Let his table be thine, and do thou and thy sons eat thereof. And may thy table be full unto all generations, and thy food fail not unto all the ages. And let all who hate thee fall down before thee, and let all thy adversaries be rooted out and perish. And blessed be he that blesses thee, and cursed be every nation that curses thee. And to Judah he said, May the Lord give thee strength and power, to tread down all that hate thee. A prince shalt thou be, thou and one of thy sons, over the sons of Jacob. May thy name and the name of thy sons go forth and traverse every land and region. Then shall the Gentiles fear before thy face, and all the nations shall quake, and all the peoples shall quake. In thee shall be the help of Jacob, and in thee be found the salvation of Israel. And when thou sittest on the throne of honor of thy righteousness, there shall be great peace for all the seed of the sons of the beloved. Blessed be he that blesseth thee, and all that hate thee and afflict thee and curse thee, shall be rooted out and destroyed from the earth and be accursed. And turning he kissed him again and embraced him and rejoiced greatly, for he had seen the sons of Jacob his son in very truth. And he went forth from between his feet and fell down and bowed down to him. And he blessed them and rested there with Isaac his father that night, and they eat and drank with joy. And he made the 2 sons of Jacob sleep, the one on his right hand and the other on his left, and it was counted to him for righteousness. And Jacob told his father everything during the night, how the Lord had shown him great mercy, and how he had prospered him in all his ways and protected him from all evil. And Isaac blessed the God of his father Abraham, who had not withdrawn his mercy and his righteousness from the sons of his servant Isaac. And in the morning Jacob told his father Isaac the vow which he had vowed to the Lord, and the vision which he had seen, and that he had built an altar, and that everything was ready for the sacrifice to be made before the Lord as he had vowed, and that he had come to set him on an ass. And Isaac said unto Jacob his son, I am not able to go with thee, for I am old and not able to bear the way. Go, my son, in peace, for I am 165 years this day, I am no longer able to journey. Set thy mother on an ass, and let her go with thee. And I know, my son, that thou hast come on my account, and may this day be blessed on which thou hast seen me alive, and I also have seen thee, my son. Mayest thou prosper and fulfill the vow which thou hast vowed, and put not off thy vow, for thou shalt be called to account as touching the vow. Now therefore make haste to perform it, and may he be pleased who has made all things, to whom thou hast vowed the vow. And he said to Rebekah, Go with Jacob thy son. And Rebekah went with Jacob her son, and Deborah with her, and they came to Bethel. And Jacob remembered the prayer with which his father had blessed him and his 2 sons, Levi and Judah, and he rejoiced and blessed the God of his fathers, Abraham and Isaac. And he said, Now I know that I have an eternal hope, and my sons also, before the God of all. And thus is it ordained concerning the 2, and they record it as an eternal testimony unto them on the heavenly tablets how Isaac blessed them. Levi's dream at Bethel 1. Levi chosen to the priesthood as the 10th son 2-3. Jacob celebrates the Feast of Tabernacles and offers tithes through Levi, also the second tithe 4-9. Law of tithes ordained 10-15. Jacob's visions in which Jacob reads on the heavenly tablets his own future and that of his descendants 16-26. Celebrates the 80th day of Feast of Tabernacles 27-9. Death of Deborah 30. Birth of Benjamin and death of Rachel 33-4. Cf. Gen 35.8, 10, 11, 13, 16-20. Chapter 32. And he abode that night at Bethel, and Levi dreamed that they had ordained and made him the priest of the Most High God, him and his sons forever. And he awoke from his sleep and blessed the Lord. And Jacob rose early in the morning on the 14th of this month, and he gave a tithe of all that came with him, both of men and cattle, both of gold and every vessel and garment, yea, he gave tithes of all. And in those days Rachel became pregnant with her son Benjamin. And Jacob counted his sons from him upwards, and Levi fell to the portion of the Lord. And his father clothed him in the garments of the priesthood and filled his hands. And on the 15th of this month, he brought to the altar 14 oxen from amongst the cattle, and 28 rams, and 49 sheep, and 7 lambs, and 21 kids of the goats as a burnt offering on the altar of sacrifice, well pleasing for a sweet savor before God. This was his offering, in consequence of the vow which he had vowed that he would give a tenth, with their fruit offerings and their drink offerings. And when the fire had consumed it, he burnt incense on the fire over the fire, and for a thank offering 2 oxen and 4 rams and 4 sheep for he-goats, and 2 sheep of a year old and 2 kids of the goats. And thus he did daily for 7 days. And he and all his sons and his men were eating this, with joy there during 7 days, and blessing and thanking the Lord, who had delivered him out of all his tribulation and had given him his vow. And he tithed all the clean animals and made a burnt sacrifice, but the unclean animals he gave not to Levi his son, and he gave him all the souls of the men. And Levi discharged the priestly office at Bethel before Jacob his father in preference to his 10 brothers, and he was a priest there, and Jacob gave his vow. Thus he tithed again the tithe to the Lord and sanctified it, and it became holy unto him. And for this reason it is ordained on the heavenly tablets as a law for the tithing again the tithe to eat before the Lord from year to year, in the place where it is chosen that his name should dwell, and to this law there is no limit of days forever. This ordinance is written that it may be fulfilled from year to year in eating the second tithe before the Lord in the place where it has been chosen, and nothing shall remain over from it from this year to the year following. For in its year shall the seed be eaten till the days of the gathering of the seed of the year, and the wine till the days of the wine, and the oil till the days of its season. And all that is left thereof and becomes old, let it be regarded as polluted, let it be burnt with fire, for it is unclean. And thus let them eat it together in the sanctuary, and let them not suffer it to become old. And all the tithes of the oxen and sheep shall be holy unto the Lord, and shall belong to his priests, which they will eat before him from year to year. For thus is it ordained and engraven regarding the tithe on the heavenly tablets. And on the following night, on the 22nd day of this month, Jacob resolved to build that place, and to surround the court with a wall, and to sanctify it and make it holy forever for himself and his children after him. And the Lord appeared to him by night and blessed him and said unto him, Thy name shall not be called Jacob, but Israel shall they name thy name. And he said unto him again, I am the Lord who created the heaven and the earth, and I will increase thee and multiply thee exceedingly, and kings shall come forth from thee, and they shall judge everywhere wherever the foot of the sons of men has trodden. And I will give to thy seed all the earth which is under heaven, and they shall judge all the nations according to their desires, and after that they shall get possession of the whole earth and inherit it forever. And he finished speaking with him, and he went up from him. And Jacob looked till he had ascended into heaven. And he saw in a vision of the night, and behold, an angel descended from heaven with 7 tablets in his hands, and he gave them to Jacob, and he read them and knew all that was written therein which would befall him and his sons throughout all the ages. And he showed him all that was written on the tablets, and said unto him, Do not build this place, and do not make it an eternal sanctuary, and do not dwell here, for this is not the place. Go to the house of Abraham thy father, and dwell with Isaac thy father until the day of the death of thy father. For in Egypt thou shalt die in peace, and in this land thou shalt be buried with honor in the sepulchre of thy fathers, with Abraham and Isaac. Fear not, for as thou hast seen and read it, thus shall it all be, and do thou write down everything as thou hast seen and read. And Jacob said, Lord, how can I remember all that I have read and seen? And he said unto him, I will bring all things to thy remembrance. And he went up from him, and he awoke from his sleep, and he remembered everything which he had read and seen, and he wrote down all the words which he had read and seen. And he celebrated there yet another day, and he sacrificed thereon according to all that he sacrificed on the former days, and called its name Addition. For this day was added, and the former days he called the feast. And thus it was manifested that it should be, and it is written on the heavenly tablets. Wherefore it was revealed to him that he should celebrate it, and add it to the 7 days of the feast. And its name was called Addition, because that it was recorded amongst the days of the feast days, according to the number of the days of the year. And in the night, on the 23rd of this month, Deborah Rebekah's nurse died, and they buried her beneath the city under the oak of the river, and he called the name of this place, the river of Deborah, and the oak of the mourning of Deborah. And Rebekah went and returned to her house to his father Isaac. And Jacob sent by her hand rams and sheep and he-goats that she should prepare a meal for his father such as he desired. And he went after his mother till he came to the land of Caberton, and he dwelt there. And Rachel bare a son in the night, and called his name Son of my Sorrow, for she suffered in giving him birth. But his father called his name Benjamin, on the 11th of the 8th month in the 1st of the 6th week of this Jubilee. 21:43 a.m. And Rachel died there, and she was buried in the land of Ephrath, the same is Bethlehem, and Jacob built a pillar on the grave of Rachel, on the road above her grave. Reuben sins with Bilhah, 1-9, cf. Gen 35.21-22. Laws regarding incest 10-20. Jacob's children 22. Cf. Gen 35.23-7. Chapter 33. And Jacob went and dwelt to the south of Magdaladriah. And he went to his father Isaac, he and Leah his wife, on the new moon of the 10th month. And Reuben saw Bilhah, Rachel's maid, the concubine of his father, bathing in water in a secret place, and he loved her. And he hid himself at night, and he entered the house of Bilhah at night, and he found her sleeping alone on a bed in her house. And he lay with her, and she awoke and saw, and behold, Reuben was lying with her in the bed, and she uncovered the border of her covering and seized him, and cried out, and discovered that it was Reuben. And she was ashamed because of him, and released her hand from him, and he fled. And she lamented because of this thing exceedingly, and did not tell it to anyone. And when Jacob returned and sought her, she said unto him, I am not clean for thee, for I have been defiled as regards thee, for Reuben has defiled me, and has lain with me in the night, and I was asleep, and did not discover until he uncovered my skirt and slept with me. And Jacob was exceedingly wroth with Reuben because he had lain with Bilhah, because he had uncovered his father's skirt. And Jacob did not approach her again because Reuben had defiled her. And as for any man who uncovers his father's skirt, his deed is wicked exceedingly, for he is abominable before the Lord. For this reason it is written and ordained on the heavenly tablets that a man should not lie with his father's wife, and should not uncover his father's skirt, for this is unclean. They shall surely die together, the man who lies with his father's wife and the woman also, for they have wrought uncleanness on the earth. And there shall be nothing unclean before our God in the nation which he has chosen for himself as a possession. And again it is written a second time, Cursed be he who lieth with the wife of his father, for he hath uncovered his father's shame. And all the holy ones of the Lord said, So be it, so be it. And do thou, Moses, command the children of Israel that they observe this word, for it entails a punishment of death, and it is unclean, and there is no atonement for ever to atone for the man who has committed this, but he is to be put to death and slain, and stoned with stones, and rooted out from the midst of the people of our God. For to no man who does so in Israel is it permitted to remain alive a single day on the earth, for he is abominable and unclean. And let them not say, To Reuben was granted life and forgiveness after he had lain with his father's concubine, and to her also though she had a husband, and her husband Jacob, his father, was still alive. For until that time there had not been revealed the ordinance and judgment and law in its completeness for all, but in thy days it has been revealed, as a law of seasons and of days, and an everlasting law for the everlasting generations. And for this law there is no consummation of days and no atonement for it, but they must both be rooted out in the midst of the nation. On the day whereon they committed it they shall slay them. And do thou, Moses, write it down for Israel that they may observe it, and do according to these words, and not commit a sin unto death. For the Lord our God is judge, who respects not persons and accepts not gifts. And tell them these words of the covenant, that they may hear and observe, and be on their guard with respect to them, and not be destroyed and rooted out of the land. For an uncleanness, and an abomination, and a contamination, and a pollution are all they who committed on the earth before our God. And there is no greater sin than the fornication which they commit on earth. For Israel is a holy nation unto the Lord its God, and a nation of inheritance, and a priestly and royal nation and for his own possession. And there shall no such uncleanness appear in the midst of the holy nation. And in the 3rd year of this 6th week, 21:45 a.m., Jacob and all his sons went and dwelt in the house of Abraham, near Isaac his father and Rebekah his mother. And these were the names of the sons of Jacob: the firstborn Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, the sons of Leah, and the sons of Rachel, Joseph and Benjamin, and the sons of Bilhah, Dan and Naphtali, and the sons of Zilpah, Gad and Asher, and Dinah, the daughter of Leah, the only daughter of Jacob. And they came and bowed themselves to Isaac and Rebekah. And when they saw them they blessed Jacob and all his sons, and Isaac rejoiced exceedingly, for he saw the sons of Jacob, his younger son, and he blessed them. Warfare of the Amorite kings against Jacob and his sons, 1-9. Jacob sends Joseph to visit his brethren, 10. Joseph sold and carried down into Egypt, 11-12, cf. Gen 37.14, 17, 18, 25, 32-6. Deaths of Bilhah and Dinah, 15. Jacob mourns for Joseph, 13, 14, 17. Institution of Day of Atonement on day when news of Joseph's death arrived, 18-19. Wives of Jacob's sons, 20-1. Chapter 34. And in the 6th year of this week of this 44th Jubilee, 21:48 a.m., Jacob sent his sons to pasture their sheep, and his servants with them to the pastures of Shechem. And the 7 kings of the Amorites assembled themselves together against them, to slay them, hiding themselves under the trees, and to take their cattle as a prey. And Jacob and Levi and Judah and Joseph were in the house with Isaac their father, for his spirit was sorrowful, and they could not leave him. And Benjamin was the youngest, and for this reason remained with his father. And there came the kings of Taphu and the king of Arisa, and the kings of Sargon, and the king of Selo, and the king of Jaz, and the king of Betharon, and the king of Minasachar, and all those who dwell in these mountains, and who dwell in the woods in the land of Canaan. And they announced this to Jacob, saying, Behold, the kings of the Amorites have surrounded thy sons, and plundered their herds. And he arose from his house, he and his 3 sons and all the servants of his father, and his own servants, and he went against them with 6,000 men who carried swords. And he slew them in the pastures of Shechem, and pursued those who fled, and he slew them with the edge of the sword, and he slew Arisa and Taphu and Sargon and Selo and Amani Sakir and Jaz, and he recovered his herds. And he prevailed over them, and imposed tribute on them that they should pay him tribute, 5 fruit products of their land, and he built Rabal and Tamnatares. And he returned in peace and made peace with them, and they became his servants, until the day that he and his sons went down into Egypt. And in the 7th year of this week, 21:49 a.m., He sent Joseph to learn about the welfare of his brothers from his house to the land of Shechem, and he found them in the land of Dothan. And they dealt treacherously with him, and formed a plot against him to slay him, but changing their minds they sold him to Ishmaelite merchants, and they brought him down into Egypt, and they sold him to Potiphar, the eunuch of Pharaoh, the chief of the cooks, priest of the city of Alu. And the sons of Jacob slaughtered a kid, and dipped the coat of Joseph in the blood, and sent it to Jacob their father on the 10th of the 7th month. And he mourned all that night, for they had brought it to him in the evening, and he became feverish with mourning for his death, and he said, An evil beast hath devoured Joseph. And all the members of his house mourned with him that day, and they were grieving and mourning with him all that day. And his sons and his daughter rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted for his son. And on that day Bilhah heard that Joseph had perished, and she died mourning him, and she was living in Capharteph. And Dinah also, his daughter, died after Joseph had perished. And there came these 3 mournings upon Israel in 1 month. And they buried Bilhah over against the tomb of Rachel, and Dinah also, his daughter, they buried there. And he mourned for Joseph 1 year, and did not cease, for he said, Let me go down to the grave mourning for my son. For this reason it is ordained for the children of Israel that they should afflict themselves on the 10th of the 7th month, on the day that the news which made him weep for Joseph came to Jacob his father, that they should make atonement for themselves thereon with a young goat on the 10th of the 7th month, once a year for their sins, for they had grieved the affection of their father regarding Joseph his son. And this day has been ordained that they should grieve thereon for their sins, and for all their transgressions and for all their errors, so that they might cleanse themselves on that day once a year. And after Joseph perished, the sons of Jacob took unto themselves wives. The name of Reuben's wife is Adah, and the name of Simeon's wife is Adelberet, a Canaanite, and the name of Levi's wife is Melchah, of the daughters of Aram, of the seed of the sons of Terah, and the name of Judah's wife, Betasel, a Canaanite, and the name of Issachar's wife, Hazakah, and the name of Zabulon's wife, Enaman, and the name of Dan's wife, Eglah, and the name of Naphtali's wife, Raziu of Mesopotamia, and the name of Gad's wife, Maacah, and the name of Asher's wife, Ijonah, and the name of Joseph's wife, Asenath the Egyptian, and the name of Benjamin's wife, Ijisakah. And Simeon repented, and took a second wife from Mesopotamia as his brothers. Rebekah's admonition to Jacob and his reply 1-8. Rebekah asks Isaac to make Esau swear that he will not injure Jacob 9-12. Isaac consents 13-17. Esau takes the oath and likewise Jacob 18-26. Death of Rebekah 27. Chapter 35. And in the 1st year of the 1st week of the 45th Jubilee, 21:57 a.m., Rebekah called Jacob, her son, and commanded him regarding his father and regarding his brother, that he should honor them all the days of his life. And Jacob said, I will do everything as thou hast commanded me, for this thing will be honor and greatness to me, and righteousness before the Lord, that I should honor them. And thou too, mother, knowest from the time I was born until this day, all my deeds and all that is in my heart, that I always think good concerning all. And how should I not do this thing which thou hast commanded me, that I should honor my father and my brother? Tell me, mother, what perversity hast thou seen in me, and I shall turn away from it, and mercy will be upon me. And she said unto him, My son, I have not seen in thee all my days any perverse but only upright deeds. And yet I will tell thee the truth, my son, I shall die this year, and I shall not survive this year in my life, for I have seen in a dream the day of my death, that I should not live beyond 155 years. And behold, I have completed all the days of my life which I am to live. And Jacob laughed at the words of his mother, because his mother had said unto him that she should die, and she was sitting opposite to him in possession of her strength, and she was not infirm in her strength, for she went in and out and saw, and her teeth were strong, and no ailment had touched her all the days of her life. And Jacob said unto her, Blessed am I, mother, if my days approach the days of thy life, and my strength remain with me thus as thy strength. And thou wilt not die, for thou art jesting idly with me regarding thy death. And she went in to Isaac and said unto him, One petition I make unto thee, make Esau swear that he will not injure Jacob, nor pursue him with enmity. For thou knowest Esau's thoughts, that they are perverse from his youth, and there is no goodness in him, for he desires after thy death to kill him. And thou knowest all that he has done since the day Jacob his brother went to Haran until this day, how he has forsaken us with his whole heart, and has done evil to us. Thy flocks he has taken to himself, and carried off all thy possessions from before thy face. And when we implored and besought him for what was our own, he did as a man who was taking pity on us. And he is bitter against thee because thou didst bless Jacob thy perfect and upright son. For there is no evil but only goodness in him, and since he came from Haran unto this day he has not robbed us of aught, for he brings us everything in its season always, and rejoices with all his heart when we take at his hands, and he blesses us, and has not parted from us since he came from Haran until this day, and he remains with us continually at home honoring us. And Isaac said unto her, I too know and see the deeds of Jacob who is with us, how that with all his heart he honors us. But I loved Esau formerly more than Jacob, because he was the firstborn. But now I love Jacob more than Esau, for he has done manifold evil deeds, and there is no righteousness in him, for all his ways are unrighteousness and violence, and there is no righteousness around him. And now my heart is troubled because of all his deeds, and neither he nor his seed is to be saved, for they are those who will be destroyed from the earth and who will be rooted out from under heaven. For he has forsaken the God of Abraham and gone after his wives and after their uncleanness and after their error, he and his children. And thou dost bid me make him swear that he will not slay Jacob his brother. Even if he swear he will not abide by his oath, and he will not do good but evil only. But if he desires to slay Jacob his brother, into Jacob's hands will he be given, and he will not escape from his hands, for he will descend into his hands. And fear thou not on account of Jacob, for the guardian of Jacob is great and powerful and honored, and praised more than the guardian of Esau. And Rebekah sent and called Esau, and he came to her, and she said unto him, I have a petition, my son, to make unto thee, and do thou promise to do it, my son. And he said, I will do everything that thou sayest unto me, and I will not refuse thy petition. And she said unto him, I ask you that the day I die, thou wilt take me in and bury me near Sarah, thy father's mother, and that thou and Jacob will love each other, and that neither will desire evil against the other, but mutual love only, and so ye will prosper, my sons, and be honored in the midst of the land, and no enemy will rejoice over you, and ye will be a blessing and a mercy in the eyes of all those that love you. And he said, I will do all that thou hast told me, and I shall bury thee on the day thou didst near Sarah, my father's mother, as thou hast desired that her bones may be near thy bones. And Jacob my brother also I shall love above all flesh, for I have not a brother in all the earth but him only, and this is no great merit for me if I love him. For he is my brother, and we were sown together in thy body, and together came we forth from thy womb, and if I do not love my brother, whom shall I love? And I myself beg thee to exhort Jacob concerning me and concerning my sons, for I know that he will assuredly be king over me and my sons. For on the day my father blessed him he made him the higher and me the lower. And I swear unto thee that I shall love him, and not desire evil against him all the days of my life but good only. And he sware unto her regarding all this matter. And she called Jacob before the eyes of Esau, and gave him commandment according to the words which she had spoken to Esau. And he said, I shall do thy pleasure. Believe me that no evil will proceed from me or from my sons against Esau, and I shall be first in naught save in love only. And they eat and drank, she and her sons that night, and she died 3 jubilees and 1 week and 1 year old on that night, and her 2 sons Esau and Jacob buried her in the double cave near Sarah, their father's mother. Isaac gives directions to his sons as to his burial, exhorts them to love one another, and makes them imprecate destruction on him who injures his brother, 1-11. Divides his possessions, giving the larger portion to Jacob, and dies, 12-18. Leah dies. Jacob's sons come to comfort him, 21-4. Chapter 36. And in the 6th year of this week, 2162 a.m., Isaac called his 2 sons Esau and Jacob, and they came to him, and he said unto them, My sons, I am going the way of my fathers, to the eternal house where my fathers are. Wherefore bury me near Abraham my father, in the double cave in the field of Ephron the Hittite, where Abraham purchased a sepulchre to bury in. In the sepulchre which I digged for myself, there bury me. And this I command you, my sons, that ye practice righteousness and uprightness on the earth, so that the Lord may bring upon you all that the Lord said that he would do to Abraham and to his seed. And love one another, my sons, your brothers, as a man who loves his own soul, and let each seek in what he may benefit his brother, and act together on the earth, and let them love each other as their own souls. And concerning the question of idols, I command and admonish you to reject them and hate them, and love them not, for they are full of deception for those that worship them and for those that bow down to them. Remember ye, my sons, the Lord God of Abraham your father, and how I too worshipped him and served him in righteousness and in joy, that he might multiply you and increase your seed as the stars of heaven in multitude, and establish you on the earth as the plant of righteousness which will not be rooted out unto all the generations forever. And now I shall make you swear a great oath, for there is no oath which is greater than it by the name glorious and honored and great and splendid and wonderful and mighty, which created the heavens and the earth and all things together, that ye will fear him and worship him, and that each will love his brother with affection and righteousness, and that neither will desire evil against his brother from henceforth forever all the days of your life, so that ye may prosper in all your deeds and not be destroyed. And if either of you devises evil against his brother, know that from henceforth everyone that devises evil against his brother shall fall into his hand, and shall be rooted out of the land of the living, and his seed shall be destroyed from under heaven. But on the day of turbulence and execration and indignation and anger, with flaming devouring fire as he burnt Sodom, so likewise will he burn his land and his city and all that is his, and he shall be blotted out of the book of the discipline of the children of men, and not be recorded in the book of life, but in that which is appointed to destruction, and he shall depart into eternal execration, so that their condemnation may be always renewed in hate and in execration and in wrath and in torment and in indignation and in plagues and in disease forever. I say and testify to you, my sons, according to the judgment which shall come upon the man who wishes to injure his brother. And he divided all his possessions between the two on that day, and he gave the larger portion to him that was the firstborn, and the tower and all that was about it, and all that Abraham possessed at the well of the oath. And he said, This larger portion I will give to the firstborn. And Esau said, I have sold to Jacob and given my birthright to Jacob. To him let it be given, and I have not a single word to say regarding it, for it is his. And Isaac said, May a blessing rest upon you, my sons, and upon your seed this day, for ye have given me rest, and my heart is not pained concerning the birthright, lest thou shouldest work wickedness on account of it. May the Most High God bless the man that worketh righteousness, him and his seed forever. And he ended commanding them and blessing them, and they eat and drank together before him. And he rejoiced because there was one mind between them, and they went forth from him and rested that day and slept. And Isaac slept on his bed that day rejoicing, and he slept the eternal sleep and died 180 years old. He completed 25 weeks and 5 years, and his two sons Esau and Jacob buried him. And Esau went to the land of Edom, to the mountains of Seir, and dwelt there. And Jacob dwelt in the mountains of Hebron, in the tower of the land of the sojournings of his father Abraham, and he worshipped the Lord with all his heart and according to the visible commands, according as he had divided the days of his generations. And Leah his wife died in the 4th year of the 2nd week of the 45th Jubilee, 2167 AM, and he buried her in the double cave near Rebekah his mother, to the left of the grave of Sarah, his father's mother. And all her sons and his sons came to mourn over Leah his wife with him, and to comfort him regarding her, for he was lamenting her, for he loved her exceedingly after Rachel her sister died. For she was perfect and upright in all her ways, and honored Jacob. And all the days that she lived with him he did not hear from her mouth a harsh word, for she was gentle and peaceable and upright and honorable. And he remembered all her deeds which she had done during her life, and he lamented her exceedingly, for he loved her with all his heart and with all his soul. Esau's sons reproach him for his subordination to Jacob, and constrain him to war with the assistance of 4,000 mercenaries against Jacob, 1-15. Jacob reproves Esau, 16-17. Esau's reply, 18-25. Chapter 37. And on the day that Isaac the father of Jacob and Esau died, 2162 AM, the sons of Esau heard that Isaac had given the portion of the elder to his younger son Jacob, and they were very angry. And they strove with their father, saying, Why has thy father given Jacob the portion of the elder and passed over thee, although thou art the elder and Jacob the younger? And he said unto them, Because I sold my birthright to Jacob for a small mess of lentils. And on the day my father sent me to hunt and catch and bring him something that he should eat and bless me, he came with guile and brought my father food and drink, and my father blessed him and put me under his hand. And now our father has caused us to swear, me and him, that we shall not mutually devise evil, either against his brother, and that we shall continue in love and in peace each with his brother, and not make our ways corrupt. And they said unto him, We shall not hearken unto thee to make peace with him. For our strength is greater than his strength, and we are more powerful than he. We shall go against him and slay him and destroy him and his sons. And if thou wilt not go with us, we shall do hurt to thee also. And now hearken unto us. Let us send to Aram and Philistia and Moab and Ammon, and let us choose for ourselves chosen men who are ardent for battle, and let us go against him and do battle with him, and let us exterminate him from the earth before he grows strong. And their father said unto them, Do not go and do not make war with him, lest ye fall before him. And they said unto him, This too is exactly thy mode of action from thy youth until this day, and thou art putting thy neck under his yoke. We shall not hearken to these words. And they sent to Aram and to Aduram to the friend of their father, and they hired along with them 1,000 fighting men, chosen men of war. And there came to them from Moab and from the children of Ammon, those who were hired, 1,000 chosen men, and from Philistia 1,000 chosen men of war, and from Edom and from the Horites 1,000 chosen fighting men, and from the Kittim mighty men of war. And they said unto their father, Go forth with them and lead them, else we shall slay thee. And he was filled with wrath and indignation on seeing that his sons were forcing him to go before them, to lead them against Jacob his brother. But afterward he remembered all the evil which lay hidden in his heart against Jacob his brother. And he remembered not the oath which he had sworn to his father and to his mother, that he would devise no evil all his days against Jacob his brother. And notwithstanding all this, Jacob knew not that they were coming against him to battle, and he was mourning for Leah, his wife, until they approached very near to the tower with 4,000 warriors and chosen men of war. And the men of Hebron sent to him, saying, Behold, thy brother has come against thee to fight thee with 4,000 girt with the sword, and they carry shields and weapons, for they loved Jacob more than Esau. So they told him, for Jacob was a more liberal and merciful man than Esau. But Jacob would not believe until they came very near to the tower. And he closed the gates of the tower, and he stood on the battlements and spake to his brother Esau and said, Noble is the comfort wherewith thou hast come to comfort me for my wife who has died. Is this the oath that thou didst swear to thy father and again to thy mother before they died? Thou hast broken the oath, and on the moment that thou didst swear to thy father wast thou condemned. And then Esau answered and said unto him, Neither the children of men nor the beasts of the earth have any oath of righteousness which in swearing they have sworn, an oath valid, forever. But every day they devise evil one against another, and how each may slay his adversary and foe. And thou dost hate me and my children forever. And there is no observing the tie of brotherhood with thee. Hear these words which I declare unto thee. If the boar can change its skin and make its bristles as soft as wool, or if it can cause horns to sprout forth on its head like the horns of a stag or of a sheep, then will I observe the tie of brotherhood with thee. And if the breasts separated themselves from their mother, for thou hast not been a brother to me. And if the wolves make peace with the lambs so as not to devour or do them violence, and if their hearts are towards them for good, then there shall be peace in my heart towards thee. And if the lion becomes the friend of the ox and makes peace with him, and if he is bound under one yoke with him and plows with him, then will I make peace with thee. And when the raven becomes white as the raza, then know that I have loved thee, and shall make peace with thee. Thou shalt be rooted out, and thy sons shall be rooted out, and there shall be no peace for thee. And when Jacob saw that he was so evilly disposed towards him with his heart, and with all his soul as to slay him, and that he had come springing like the wild boar which comes upon the spear that pierces and kills it, and recoils not from it, then he spake to his own and to his servants that they should attack him and all his companions. War between Jacob and Esau. Death of Esau and overthrow of his forces, 1-10. Edom reduced to servitude, till this day, 11-14. Kings of Edom, 15-24. Cf. Gen 36.31-9. Chapter 38. And after that Judah spake to Jacob his father and said unto him, Bend thy bow, father, and send forth thy arrows and cast down the adversary and slay the enemy, and mayst thou have the power, for we shall not slay thy brother, for he is such as thou, and he is like thee, let us give him this honor. Then Jacob bent his bow and sent forth the arrow and struck Esau, his brother, on his right breast, and slew him. And again he sent forth an arrow and struck Aduram the Aramean on the left breast, and drove him backward and slew him. And then went forth the sons of Jacob, they and their servants, dividing themselves into companies on the four sides of the tower. And Judah went forth in front, and Naphtali and Gad with him, and 50 servants with him on the south side of the tower, and they slew all they found before them, and not one individual of them escaped. And Levi and Dan and Asher went forth on the east side of the tower, and 50 men with them, and they slew the fighting men of Moab and Ammon. And Reuben and Issachar and Zebulun went forth on the north side of the tower, and 50 men with them, and they slew the fighting men of the Philistines. And Simeon and Benjamin and Enoch, Reuben's son, went forth on the west side of the tower, and 50 men with them, and they slew of Edom and of the Horites 400 men, stout warriors, and 600 fled, and 4 of the sons of Esau fled with them, and left their father lying slain as he had fallen on the hill which is in Aduram. And the sons of Jacob pursued after them to the mountains of Seir. And Jacob buried his brother on the hill which is in Aduram, and he returned to his house. And the sons of Jacob pressed hard upon the sons of Esau in the mountains of Seir, and bowed their necks so that they became servants of the sons of Jacob. And they sent to their father to inquire whether they should make peace with them or slay them. And Jacob sent word to his sons that they should make peace, and they made peace with them, and placed the yoke of servitude upon them, so that they paid tribute to Jacob and to his sons always. And they continued to pay tribute to Jacob until the day that he went down into Egypt. And the sons of Edom have not got quit of the yoke of servitude which the 12 sons of Jacob had imposed on them until this day. And these are the kings that reigned in Edom before there reigned any king over the children of Israel, until this day, in the land of Edom. And Balak, the son of Beer, reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. And Balak died, and Jobab, the son of Zerah of Bozer, reigned in his stead. And Jobab died, and Asam of the land of Taman reigned in his stead. And Asam died, and Adath, the son of Bered, who slew Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his stead, and the name of his city was Avith. And Adath died, and Salmon from Amasekah reigned in his stead. And Salmon died, and Saul of Areaboth by the river reigned in his stead. And Saul died, and Baalunan the son of Achbor reigned in his stead. And Baalunan the son of Achbor died, and Adath reigned in his stead, and the name of his wife was Medabith, the daughter of Madarat, the daughter of Medabedzub. These are the kings who reigned in the land of Edom. Joseph set over Potiphar's house 1-4. His purity and imprisonment 5-13. Imprisonment of Pharaoh's chief butler and chief baker whose dreams Joseph interprets 14-18. Cf. Gen 37.2, 39.3-8, 12-15, 17-23, XL.1-5, 21-3, Zli.1. Chapter 39. And Jacob dwelt in the land of his father's sojournings in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. And Joseph was 17 years old when they took him down into the land of Egypt, and Potiphar, an eunuch of Pharaoh, the chief cook, bought him. And he set Joseph over all his house, and the blessing of the Lord came upon the house of the Egyptian on account of Joseph, and the Lord prospered him in all that he did. And the Egyptian committed everything into the hands of Joseph, for he saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord prospered him in all that he did. And Joseph's appearance was comely, and very beautiful was his appearance. And his master's wife lifted up her eyes and saw Joseph, and she loved him and besought him to lie with her. But he did not surrender his soul, and he remembered the Lord and the words which Jacob, his father, used to read from amongst the words of Abraham, that no man should commit fornication with a woman who has a husband, that for him the punishment of death has been ordained in the heavens before the Most High God, and the sin will be recorded against him in the eternal books continually before the Lord. And Joseph remembered these words and refused to lie with her. And she besought him for a year, but he refused and would not listen. But she embraced him and held him fast in the house in order to force him to lie with her, and closed the doors of the house and held him fast. But he left his garment in her hands and broke through the door and fled without from her presence. And the woman saw that he would not lie with her, and she calumniated him in the presence of his lord, saying, Thy Hebrew servant, whom thou lovest, sought to force me so that he might lie with me. And it came to pass when I lifted up my voice that he fled and left his garment in my hands when I held him, and he brake through the door. And the Egyptian saw the garment of Joseph and the broken door, and heard the words of his wife, and cast Joseph into prison into the place where the prisoners were kept whom the king imprisoned. And he was there in the prison. And the Lord gave Joseph favor in the sight of the chief of the prison guards and compassion before him, for he saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper. And he committed all things into his hands, and the chief of the prison guards knew of nothing that was with him, for Joseph did everything, and the Lord perfected it. And he remained there 2 years. And in those days Pharaoh, king of Egypt, was wroth against his 2 eunuchs, against the chief butler and against the chief baker, and he put them in ward in the house of the chief cook, in the prison where Joseph was kept. And the chief of the prison guards appointed Joseph to serve them, and he served before them. And they both dreamed a dream, the chief butler and the chief baker, and they told it to Joseph. And as he interpreted to them, so it befell them. And Pharaoh restored the chief butler to his office, and the chief baker he slew, as Joseph had interpreted to them. But the chief butler forgot Joseph in the prison, although he had informed him what would befall him, and did not remember to inform Pharaoh how Joseph had told him, for he forgot. Pharaoh's dreams and their interpretation, 1-4. Elevation and marriage of Joseph, 5-13. Cf. Gens Li.1-5, 7-9, 14 Sequentia 25, 29-30, 34, 36, 38-43, 45-6, 49. Chapter 40. And in those days Pharaoh dreamed 2 dreams in one night concerning a famine which was to be in all the land. And he awoke from his sleep and called all the interpreters of dreams that were in Egypt and magicians, and told them his 2 dreams, and they were not able to declare them. And then the chief butler remembered Joseph and spake of him to the king, and he brought him forth from the prison, and he told his 2 dreams before him. And he said before Pharaoh that his 2 dreams were one, and he said unto him, 7 years shall come, in which there shall be plenty over all the land of Egypt, and after that 7 years of famine, such a famine as has not been in all the land. And now let Pharaoh appoint overseers in all the land of Egypt, and let them store up food in every city throughout the days of the years of plenty, and there will be food for the 7 years of famine, and the land will not perish through the famine, for it will be very severe. And the Lord gave Joseph favor and mercy in the eyes of Pharaoh, and Pharaoh said unto his servants, We shall not find such a wise and discreet man as this man, for the Spirit of the Lord is with him. And he appointed him the second in all his kingdom, and gave him authority over all Egypt, and caused him to ride in the second chariot of Pharaoh. And he clothed him with byssus garments, and he put a gold chain upon his neck, and a herald proclaimed before him Awabir, and placed a ring on his hand, and made him ruler over all his house, and magnified him, and said unto him, Only on the throne shall I be greater than thou. And Joseph ruled over all the land of Egypt, and all the princes of Pharaoh, and all his servants, and all who did the king's business loved him, for he walked in uprightness, for he was without pride and arrogance, and he had no respect of persons, and did not accept gifts, but he judged in uprightness all the people of the land. And the land of Egypt was at peace before Pharaoh because of Joseph, for the Lord was with him, and gave him favor and mercy for all his generations before all those who knew him and those who heard concerning him. And Pharaoh's kingdom was well ordered, and there was no Satan and no evil person therein. And the king called Joseph's name Sephantiphens, and gave Joseph to wife the daughter of Potiphar, the daughter of the priest of Heliopolis, the chief cook. And on the day that Joseph stood before Pharaoh he was 30 years old, when he stood before Pharaoh. And in that year Isaac died. And it came to pass as Joseph had said in the interpretation of his 2 dreams, according as he had said it, there were 7 years of plenty over all the land of Egypt, and the land of Egypt abundantly produced, 1 measure, producing 1,800 measures. And Joseph gathered food into every city until they were full of corn, until they could no longer count and measure it for its multitude.